Yo, happy Easter Sunday, folks. It is Kuya Kicks, and we are going to be doing some unboxing to see what is in the box this weekend. So, switching it up a little bit, I did get a package from the homie Kyle in the States. This is a package that consists of many orders that I placed in the States a while back. Excuse me while I get this mic out of the way. So I got this package a while back and I didn't get a chance to shipping it in. So this is my unboxing of all the goodies that I got. I'm trying to figure out where to put this mic for now. All the goodies that I got from the States. There's some stuff from Big Bad Toy Store. There is some stuff from uh, 796 Studios. There is some stuff from Amazon. There's just a lot of stuff that I got to take out of the box. So switching it up a little bit, if you notice, I do have a different overlay that I'm using today. Um, Let me know how the audio is. I'm gonna actually bring this down a little bit. Yo, what's going on? Nice to see you. Happy Easter to you, man. Just telling people that I switched over the overlay. Obviously, I have a side cam that I'm looking at right over here. There's the top-down cam from the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which I have off to the side over here. And then depending on if you're on desktop or if you're on Instagram, there is a slightly different feed because this is optimized for both. You will see a portrait and a landscape version of what we have here. And there's quite a bit of things that we have that we do want to take a look at in this box. Likely won't be able to unbox everything, but I'll be able to unbox the box to show what's in there. So I don't want to waste any more time. I want to kind of get right into it. So we will put on our nitrile gloves so that we can start getting into this package. It is quite large, and as I mentioned, there's some stuff from Big Bad Toy Store. There's some stuff from 796 Studios. There's some stuff from Amazon. There's, I think, some GameStop stuff even. So there's quite a bit. And I'm putting on these gloves just because, I want to be able to cleanly go through the box. And then the other thing too is, it doesn't show my nails, my hands, anything like that. So you could focus on the toy and have some fun there. But let me know what the audio sounds like. I know that I'm using my new headset over here, which is the Noom NTT Sonority open ear headset. And it is a little bit different than the overhead mic that is currently not working right now. So let me know what that looks like. But let's take a look at this massive box so you can see for scale. It is a Big Bad Toy Store box. It's not only Big Bad Toy Store stuff, it was just reused to pack in all the fun goodies. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this over here. So what we'll do is I'm actually going to switch overlays to this scene over here, where now you can prioritize the screen and the action figures that I put down over here. Let me know if that was a smooth transition, if you could still hear me. And yes, Grimjaw, what are you saying? Good to see you, man. Um, yes, unboxing some toys today. So I'm going to go ahead and rip this bad boy open. Apologies that you can't see everything, but I did switch over to a top-down camera view over here as well, so you can see a little bit of what I'm taking out. So you won't need to necessarily see everything over here because I'm going to put it right over here. Audio sounds good watching on your Roku stream bar. Sick. Okay, awesome. So the headset is at 100%, and then the audio is currently at 30%. This is just like free music that I got on Streamlabs, on YouTube rather. So yes, hold on. Let's see here. All right, cool. Otherwise, also, how is the stream quality? I mean, is the picture good? Is the other than the audio, does everything else sound okay? Please let me know, and then I can make those optimizations on the screen over here. But yes, so and also if you have any questions, do let me know as I'm opening everything that we have here. So the first thing that we got is this big boy here. This is the Transformers Legacy United 5-pack. So the reason why I got this one is, of course, because of all the Autobots here. If you've been following me, then you will know that I've been building my Transformers 86 collection over the last year. And, you know, I have Optimus, I have a lot of the 86 movie action figures. I have the Ironhide, I'm trying to look over there because that's where my action figures are. I have a Hound, I have Ironhide, I have Ratchet, and Optimus over there. So I was looking to get the rest of the Autobot crew. So this 5-pack that you see right here is Jazz, Sunstreaker, Trailbreaker, Wheeljack, and Hound. So they are all in here. And so we'll just do a quick slide of how massive this box is here. I do have a camera bar over here, so you can't see everything. But yeah, Legacy United, you see over here, says that it is the 5-pack, and some cool artwork of each of the Autobots here. Not much on the other sides. So we'll actually cut these open as we go, and then we can deep dive. Actually, no. Let's go into everything, and then we'll revisit what everyone's looking for. So you tell me, Ricky, Grimjaw, what you want to see, and then we'll revisit stuff. So again, this 5-pack I'm going to put over to the side for now. Ricky says that the Autobot 5-pack for a new Hound. I wish I nabbed him when I saw it at GameStop. Yeah, this was on sale at Big Bad Toy Store, so I ended up picking it up over there. Thanks for confirming that the picture and the audio is good. Yes, also, you know, Jazz and some of the other Autobots, you know, I wanted to fill out the crew. Here's another piece. This one's actually not for me. This one is for Drew Olive, and it is the Avalanche, Marvel Legends Retro Card Avalanche. So I'll be giving this to Drew to complete his Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. So we put this guy off to the side. We also have, here we go. This one here is from 796 Studios, and this is the Sasquatch as part of Alpha Flight. So I've also been building Alpha Flight over the past, I'm going to say 2 or 3 years. I got the 5-pack or whatever the multi-pack is. I have my Guardian. I have a whole bunch of other ones, the Wendigo Build-A-Figure, and Sasquatch is one that I'm missing. I do have the old Toy Biz Sasquatch, which has been filling in that collection, but I did notice that the homie Mario 796 Studios did list this up for grabs online, so I went ahead and picked up this here. What's next? What's next? One that was missing in the collection was Bumblebee. So of course, Bumblebee 1986. I do have, you know, the majority of the 1986 movie. As I look into my glass case over there, I have the 86 Optimus Prime. I have the 86 Ultra Magnus, the RC, the Hot Rod, the Blur, the Cup. But from like the Earth Autobots from the original G1 series, I was missing a Bumblebee. So finally, again, I picked this up last summer. It was almost nowhere to be found here in on North American shelves, and if it was, a lot of people were selling it aftermarket. So ended up picking this guy up. So this is going to fill out the 86 collection nicely. So another Transformer here. Now let's switch it up and look into some classics, and I do have some vintage cassettes here. So from a vintage cassette perspective, you may have watched the stream. So I did have the Studio Series, oh not Studio Series, I had the G1 Soundwave, and then I also had the Masterpiece Soundwave, and I was kind of doing those comparisons online. Hey, what's going on, Henrock? But I decided to pick up some more additional cassettes to go with that vintage collection. So with this vintage, you know, cassette piece set over here, you do see Ravage, and that is just a 2-pack. So Ravage and Rumble, it says. So it says Rumble Red, but I call the red one Frenzy. I know everyone has a different opinion on that, but that's just me. The other one here is the, whoa, looks like the packaging actually slid off here. But we do have the other 2-pack, which consists of, they say, Frenzy and Laserbeak. So additional cassettes to add to the collection here. I'm not sure if I did show the back of the Bumblebee, but just taking a look at it one more time so you can see his bot form, car form. But yes, we will revisit these for sure. Let's keep it going. All right, switching it up away from Transformers, and now we are taking a look at the Son Goku Effect Part set. So this is another very cool set by Bandai Tamashii Nations, and this is made for Goku. Hold on here, I'm missing some messages on the side. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Ricky says that Bumblebee is pretty sick, was able to get it from eCollectibles. Oh yeah, eCollectibles is awesome. The Chibi Penny Racer proportions of his alt mode, for sure. For me, definitely, like, obviously Bumblebee is such an iconic character. I think he's even more prominent now because of the way that he's been depicted in the Michael Bay Bayverse kind of Transformers. But when it comes down to the classic Transformers as well, he was pretty much the sidekick of Spike and Buzz. So I mean, having a Bumblebee in the collection is absolutely necessary. But getting back into this Goku set over here, this Son Goku effect set, it is made for the Bandai Tamashii Nations Son Goku, and you can see, a whole bunch of different effects on the side over here, which is super cool. But the reason why I purchased this for people that are unfamiliar would be the fact that, with the toy photography and stuff that I do, like I needed effects, like so when people are doing, blasts and slashes and punches and kicks and stuff like that, I thought that this would be an awesome set, to use with my toy photography. So, stay on the lookout for some updated toy photography with my Smash Brothers action figures, specifically using these ones here. All right, more Bumblebee. So in terms of filling out the collection as well, something that came out recently, or not recently, I guess the most recent live action Transformers that we got was the Rise of the Beasts. So I do have a bunch of the Rise of the Beasts Transformers, and so I decided to pick these up, specifically the car modes. I didn't pick up any of the Maximals, but I do have a Mirage, I do have a Wheeljack, and I'm building, pretty much those cars. And I am a big collector of Bumblebee Transformers in general. I believe I have every version through the entire Bayverse to date. So this one, is another one to kind of add there. He has the roll cage and a whole bunch of different bars over here. And he does, I believe, have improved articulation over some of the past versions. So this is just another Bumblebee to add to the set. I'm running out of space here. Bear with me as I reorganize the table. All right, let's switch it up away from Transformers, and we will now get into, bang, the Figma Light Chestnut Horse. So this is, again, a Figma horse action figure. There are a couple different ones that they released in the past, all brown, and then they also had a black and then a white version. So this one is the light chestnut, as you can see over here. The other thing about this horse specifically, or at least the purpose that I purchased it for, was to be Epona. So if anyone is a Zelda fan, Figma also makes Zelda action figures. So I wanted to pick up a horse that resembled Epona from Ocarina of Time and Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. So this I purchased as Link's horse. So I'm really excited to have this in my collection, and then I'll be able to add, have Link posed up with Epona here. All right, the transformer action does not stop because we keep going, and we do have again the Perceptor, and I believe Perceptor um, is being reissued, but this is probably one of the first ones that they released. I imagine that they made some improvements right away. You could see through the window that you could see some of the pins in the hip over here, but I got this at a really good price on Amazon in the States, so I decided to pick it up. And we're taking a look at we'll be able to take a look at this one, and this is just again rounding out more of the Autobots from the 1986 movie. Again, you can see the 86 movie logo right on top over here. All right, now still in the theme of Transformers, but switching over to not an actual Transformer, but an accessory kit. This is the DNA Design 1986 DK25 Gearmaster Accessory Series set, and this one is specifically made for Jazz and Cup, as well as Hot Rod. So all of these accessories over here are compatible with the Studio Series Transformers. I believe these ones are for Cup when he's injured, and you can see his like the leaking oil out of his arm and leg. This fishing scene is from the very beginning of the movie, where Daniel and Hot Rod are fishing. So that's for Hot Rod, this big rod over here, the small one, and then this stand over here is actually to peg them both in to hold them into place. These accessories over here are also for Jazz, so that's going to upgrade the 5-pack that we just took a look at not too long ago. All right, and last but not least, something limited edition, because I am a sucker for weird Transformers, weird crossover Transformers, and this is the Stranger Things crossover. So this is Code Red. So anyone who watched Stranger Things, this is the pizza van that some of the characters are driving in, and it's a heavy retool of the Ratchet and Ironhide mold. But you could see that again, it's kind of in this cool pizza box design. You could see that's kind of funny, this Who's Watching, just like on Netflix. And then the back of the figure over here, you can see both the bot mode and the alt mode. Take a look at that a little closer over here as well. And then the full view. Now, another cool thing about this is it actually, where's my knife? Did I misplace my knife? Hold up. So I'll slide this open here because I believe it opens like a pizza box. That's 1, 2. Okay. So we just pull this pizza box open. This is so cool. That's just a sleeve that we're going to put off to the side, and then it's Surfer Boy Pizza. Right. So you can see everything looking pretty good over here. Delivered hot to your door. Stranger Things logo. You have the Autobot on the pizza box over here. Second. And then let's see here. Toppings, pineapple and jalapeno. I actually love this combo. I'm not sure if y'all like pineapple. A lot of people don't like pineapple on pizza, but I actually do like, especially pineapple and jalapeno. It works as a nice combo for sweet and spicy. Don't knock it till you try it. And then the other thing is Code Red that you have over here. What's going on, Patrick? Good to see you, buddy. How's everything going with you? Just unboxing some Transformers today, homie. But taking a look, this is a very specific and unique Transformers crossover with Transformers and Netflix Stranger Things. So when we open up this Pizza Boy box, let's see what we have inside. Oh, he's actually in his alt mode. So, but it's kind of funny that he's in a pizza box. I've never actually seen this before, but you could see like some fake grease on the top over here, which is pretty jokes. Neapolitan pizza, no. Yeah, right. No, man. This is Surfer Boy. This is no real pizza. But yo, I'm actually, my wife and I are looking to maybe get some Italian food today. So if we do, we are gonna get like a proper flat pizza. You know what I mean? But yeah, this is just a fun kind of crossover from Stranger Things. Let's see how do we get this guy out of here? Says, doing great, brother. That's awesome to hear, man. Really, really good to hear. I miss you, man. Look, there's this fake pizza crust at the bottom of the box, which is pretty jokes, and the fake grease stains. And then you have this pizza. Let's take this guy out. How do we get him out? Set him free. Maybe I gotta go out the other way. Oh no, looks like this. How's everything look on Instagram? It's a little different, but the streaming software that I use, it has this feature, but my YouTube and Twitch are obviously different. But is the sound and everything coming through all right on Insta as well? Let me know. This is kind of cool. This reminds me of like old school toys in the past, where sometimes with the cardboard you could like do some cool stuff. So this you could actually punch out the top of the pizza box, and then it'll turn into like some Pizza Boy glasses, which is kind of cool. There are some accessories off to the side, so let's go ahead and get those out as well. Free it up. There we go. So we'll move this off. So we have the accessories, we have the instruction manual, we have some paper that we're going to recycle, and I can't really carefully open this tissue paper without it getting all torn up, but we can definitely take a closer look, which is kind of cool that it has the 11. You can see L there on the side. What else do we have over here? It says Hawkins on this side over here. But I have a feeling that once I start to, break this open, it's going to be really hard to retain, the design. But I'm going to try to just tear from below. And let's see if we can get this unfurled in a nice clean way. Yeah, everyone on Insta, let me know how the audio and how the picture is coming through. As I mentioned, like I usually stream on Twitch and on YouTube, which is in a landscape view, but I just kind of reformatted a simple view on on Insta, just to see how it kind of comes out over here. But I think that it's looking all right so far, at least from my preview. But here we go. This is the Code Red transformer. Again, a heavy retool of, I believe, the Ratchet and Ironhide design. I'm actually gonna go grab those right now, really quick. Hey, what's going on, Vanessa? Long time no see. So bear with me. Hopefully the audio still comes through. I just stepped into my living room, dining room over here, just to go to the glass case to grab a few things for comparison. And I'm just walking back to the setup now, and I'm back. Crystal clear on my end, solid views. Dope, awesome. Thank you for confirming, Patty. But yes, this is the new one, right? This is the new Transformer from Stranger Things and the crossover. So he's called Code Red, and then so this is the original. And then the other two that share a very similar kind of design from a band perspective, this is Ironhide. So this is the 1986 Ironhide for comparison. And then Ironhide and Ratchet are 100% identical when you see them. So you can see all three of these whips, very, very similar. But it will be interesting once we transform the two. I believe he clocks in with more height, and the panels are designed, slightly different. I think more halfway up. The other thing about this too is that it actually is. I didn't realize it is the licensed. It is a licensed Volkswagen design, so you can see that VW in the front. So I wouldn't be surprised if they got the license for this and the license for Wheeljack at the same time. Do I have Wheeljack here? Hold up. No, Wheeljack is in storage, so we'll have to take a look at him another time. But yes, so these three all work together, and pretty much now that we have everything open and we have this guy side by side, I think I'm actually going to go ahead and transform this guy and see how he looks beside his. Actually, no, I don't want to transform this guy. I want to put this guy with these ones on display. So we'll actually take these guys away for now. What I want to do is there are two transformers that we got that came specifically with in their robot mode. So those are the ones I actually want to prioritize for transformation, just to get them filled in. I think Ricky was the one that he said, he really likes this Bumblebee mold. So I'm going to prioritize this one to start. So let's go ahead and we'll take a look at the box again one more time. So this is the Bumblebee from the 1986 movie. So for those that don't know, again, the Studio Series is, not the premium, but this is the, best domestic version of these figures, in my opinion, that you can get for Transformers. There's core class, single change, like changers and stuff like that have less articulation. But when you look at stuff in the Studio Series line, typically you're getting stuff that is show accurate, screen accurate to the movie, to the show, and stuff like that. The other thing too is you now see the Takara Tomy, which has been advertised more prominently now. So we do get some Japanese engineering when it comes down to these, while still being produced and manufactured by Hasbro over here. So you can see all that. The Transformers movie, of course, from 1986. Let's take a look at this side here. Studio Series 86, Bumblebee on this side. You have him running forward on that side. Transformers movie across the top. And the legal stuff on the bottom. Got head to dinner. Wishing you the best. Same to you, Patty. Let's grab a beer soon. Let me know if we can meet in Etobicoke or something like that. Be happy to meet up with you, man, to catch up. The back side, we have the Bumblebee in his alt mode or robot mode, which he's packed in right now. And then you have his little chibi style, vehicle over here that Ricky was mentioning earlier before. All right, so let's go ahead and cut this open. We'll start just here at the top. And then we slide this tray out. Trays, rather. There are two. So for those familiar with Studio Series action figures, they come on this piece right over here. And that is just a little background that he's kind of tied to. So we'll free him up. There's my little scissors. So a few to snip him out of there. The hands. All right, so Bumblebee is free. And let's get his weapons, which are taped to the back. Get these over here. And then toss these all. Just trying to recycle as I go. Yes, so this is the other part for some collectors. They like to display their action figures on these bases. I think it's pretty good, for people who don't have access to dioramas or anything like that. But personally, not for me. I don't need all this branding, and also it's very flat and glossy. So I'd rather, work with custom diorama builders and stuff like that to get some stuff going on. I don't have anything at the moment. I've definitely commissioned some Crashbox customs in the past, and there's a whole bunch of different companies like High School Creations and Fext, I think, and a whole bunch of other ones that you can look into. I do have the ubiquitous diorama, which I sometimes use as well. So there's definitely lots of options out there for people looking to get placements like that. So yeah, let's go ahead and transform Bumblebee over here. Trying to see, before we do that, let's take a look at the action figure, which is pretty cool. Bumblebee, very accurate to the show, looking really good. And then we'll also open up his accessory pack here. Wonder what he has in store. Probably one or two guns. How many guns? One gun. All right. All right, so one Autobot blaster, similar if not identical, whoops, to what Ironhide and the and Ratchet, some of the other Autobots have. So put this off to the side over here, and let's take a look at his articulation as well. So taking a look at Bumblebee up close and personal, he is on a ball joint. But one thing is that, because his head is wide and his, it is close to the neck, you don't get a lot of tiltage, but you can spin 360. There is no light piping, but the paint on the eyes and the face look really good to me. And then let's look at these shoulders over here. These are very reminiscent, I feel, to Iron Factory and some of like the third-party companies when they build their shoulders. So we're going to go ahead and bend up, so they go up that high, and they could spin around, and it has some bicep swivel here, which is nice. And you have a 90-degree bend at the elbow, and then wrist rotation articulation here, just with that mushroom peg, and then the exact same on the side there. Now with the midsection, you do have a torso swivel, no ab crunch forward or back. For the legs, you can kick this far forward, that far back. It also has this nice cutout over here, so you can kick out, which is cool. And then you have your thigh swivel. Then you have this knee bend, so 90 degrees at the knee. And then it looks like there's another joint here at the kind of calf, just below the knee, which kind of tilts in. So I don't know, I guess that's her transformation, but that is available. But it also allows you to, I think it does. Oh no, there's no swivel there. But let's take a look at the feet. So the feet does have a little bit of a forward back, very, very slight angle there. So not a lot of articulation around the boot. Oh, never mind. Hold on. This bends forward more for transformation, but it does allow you to kind of bend that toe area a little bit, which works for me. So pretty good. For a small figure, this is pretty much, I would say, on par with a lot of the Legends scale. So I imagine that, Hasbro, Takara Tomy did take some, learnings from those third-party, fourth-party companies to create this guy over here. But what we want to do is, turn him into his alt mode so that we can put him in the glass case with his fellow Autobots. So let's go ahead and open up these instructions here. For that, let's go ahead and put this blaster in his hand so you can see him posing with some action here. Trying to get him a little actiony. There you go. There's our boy Bumblebee, ready to take on the Decepticons. Little stumpy little guy, but hey, small but mighty, short kings, right? So let's go ahead and put this back in its regular position. So I'm going to go ahead and take begun off now that we've seen this. All right, so it's saying that the first thing to do with this figure is to turn it around, right? And then once we have the back piece, we need to flip this or untab the back. How do we untab the back? This, there we go. So now we have this part all loose, and then we turn it back to the front, open up his chest cavity, so that means we just bring it down like so. And then his head, just want to take his head, just apply some pressure on the back of the head, and then put that away. Oh, I think I'm pulling too much. I think this comes apart. Yes, so there is some tension on the back part, so just be mindful of that, and it's only the head that gets tucked away, not, don't bring the rest of the bot with you. So now his head is tucked away on the inside there, and then what we can do is we could turn it around again, and then now this part over here comes up. This part comes up, and it says that there is a part that tabs in. Sorry. All right, so right there is that peg and slot. So those need to tab in together. So I'm going to go ahead and push that. And I heard the click, so that's good. Now we're going to turn it over again to the front. So we close and seal this in. So you could also see on the top of the inside of the roof of the main part of the car, there are these two shoulder kind of pegs or chest pegs. So once we press that in, oops, just got to put Bumblebee back in this spot. Things are just getting a little untabbed, but just want to make sure. There we go. So the head is in, that back is pegged in, and then we're going to close this top part over here like so. There you go. So that is nice and sealed. And then it looks like we take these arms and then we do bend them 90 degrees. So when you turn and bend them here, they actually click in, and then you feel and you hear that. And then what we do with the top, it looks like we spin them up and back like so. And then we fold them forward with the wheels. So this whole thing opens up like so. And then we rotate so that the wheels are facing the front. And that is side one complete. So we're going to go ahead and turn this around and look at the rest of the instructions here. Okay, now that we have this complete, it says to turn him 90 degrees, and it looks like we pull these feet pieces open just like that. Okay, and then there are, looks like some pegs that I'm looking for. Oh, there we go. These feet bend forward, or gray parts of the feet bend forward, and there are tiny little pegs that you could see right over here. So what we do is those need to click in. So let's see here. Untab those. Or sorry, no, the untab from those. So it looks like it was mistransformed when I received it. So anyways, that's fine. Then we turn him and flip him on his back. And now we open up the wheels, so, or the back of the leg, back of the calf area over here, and then now these fold and peg in. So you can see a little peg right on the back there and a little slot. So once they go, that clicks in nice and cleanly. And then same over here, right over here. I'm going to turn that, tab that in right there. And then it looks like we fold these in. So that piece, that was actually already done when it was received, but we'll get those back in there. And then it says we lock these together. So there's a little port right over here and a peg there, and we just click those together. Nice click when that came together. Turn it around. Okay, and then now it says to hold the figure on its side this way, and it looks like we bring this whole piece together. So another peg right over here, and then that port right over here. So once we bend this 90 degrees, that will plug in. Nice click there, so we know that that is in place. And then it looks like we swing the legs forward like so. And then we fold these legs into place. How do we do that? We do this, something like this. Hold on. Looks like we, there we go. So it kind of compresses on itself, which is kind of cool. So you got to bend up and then in, and then we squeeze everything until this clicks together. It does look like there's something that it should tab into. Oh, there we go. There's a tiny little tab you might be able to see in there. So that clicks in. Come on. There we go. Okay, now we're close. Let's go ahead and looks like I figure out how this back part comes up. Yes, so this back part comes up, and then these wheels fold in, down like that. It's one side, and then let's do the other side. This folding, whoops. So it looks like these arms also tab in together, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Come on, hold on. I think I got to swing everything in together at the same time, or else it's not going to play nice. There we go. So those are together, and then I'm going to squeeze this to hold it in place. There we go. And then I'm trying to figure out if there's anything else that locks to hold this all together. It doesn't look like it. Just trying to figure out the right angle. Of the arms and everything, just to get it all squozen. That back part folds up, and then there's two little tabs and ports that lock in around the tail lights here. So that's one, there's two, and I think that's all she wrote. I just want to make sure everything is nice and flush. But there you go. Bumblebee in all his glory. Very, very cool, tiny little design. The one thing that I'll notice is that the paint on the gray areas doesn't match the yellow plastic, which is okay. It's close enough. But he does roll, and you can store his weapon on the rear, just like this, which is kind of cool as well. But I do think that it is a miss that they didn't provide us with a tire. But I imagine that you could easily 3D print that, or there's probably a third-party company that already created that upgrade to put that in there. So we'll just go ahead and put that in here anyway. There you go. So there is Bumblebee, and we can put show you Ironhide just for scale. So not bad. Adding to the Autobots over here. So I'm going to go ahead and just go off screen really quick. I know that we were showcasing some of these. You can still hear me, but I'm just making more room. Ran out of space. Ran out of space on the table, so I want to keep it going. But otherwise, what else is new and exciting with you, Ricky, folks? What are you collecting? What are you watching? Everybody up to date on Daredevil, Last of Us, all that fun stuff. Let's go ahead and take this, put this away. So what I think I'll do is, I think I'll do the Figma horse, just to kind of add a little bit of variety here. And I'm going to bring out one of my friends to help bring that to life a little better. So this right here, what's going on? Got back from the what? You don't leave me hanging here, man. Oh, back from the Philippines. Oh, sick. I was in the Philippines in February. So yeah, I went with my wife to go visit her Tita Ningning. So we flew to Manila and then we went to Leyte, flew to Tacloban and then drove to Hilongos, where her family's from. So nice, man. Oh, dude, it was so hard getting back. The flight is a lot, and then I ended up getting sick too because when we left the Philippines, because we went to Intramuros, we went to Fort Santiago. So on that day, I kid you not, it was like 40 degrees. And then when we got back to when we flew back to Canada, it was like minus 15 or like minus 20. So like that 60-degree like difference in that 60-degree difference in temperature definitely messed up my body and ended up getting sick. So hopefully you don't drink a lot of vitamin C, and do whatever you need to do to, uh, try and not, to try and avoid getting sick. But yeah, getting back to the unboxing, this is the second Link that they released is the Twilight Princess version of Link. The first one they released is Skyward Sword. But this is the Twilight Princess Deluxe figure. I do have all the accessories. I also have the Zelda. She's in my case. I purchased this for my Super Smash Bros. Collection years ago. But yeah, this Figma Link is, a very nice, looking figure, of course, by Figma. I gave him just the basic stuff to hold on to. So of course, the Hylian shield and the Master Sword. Master Sword, of course, is fully removable, which is pretty cool. But the reason why I pulled this guy out, I said, we already did some Transformers, so I want to do something different and do some Figma. Figma, um, which I think is going to be, maybe we'll see if this is the last one that I unbox today before I pick up my wife from work, but let's see. So this is again the Figma Light Chestnut horse. They released a whole bunch of different horses in the past, but wanted to, get something specifically to, go with Link. If anyone who's played the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and a lot of the other, Zelda games, Epona is like the fastest, the best horse, Link's friend in the game. And the difference, between the original Figma horses, again, there's a black, a white, a brown. But with Epona in the game, Epona has the golden, mane, like the light mane over here to give it contrast. So I almost picked up the brown horse in the past, but it just didn't match, the exact one. So I held off. I'm happy I held off. And then these ones were actually on sale on Amazon a while back. So, oh no, I just realized my music stopped. What happened here? Let's switch. There we go. Let's see here. Same here. Last week, my mom, sister, and I got a cold. It was so humid last 4 days we were there. After sweating buckets, we were excited to get some cold Canadian weather. Yeah, man. I mean, when we went to Intramuros, um, we were going around. The sun was beating on us like the whole day, and there was kind of a cool Lego display inside one of the areas. So we kind of spent some time kind of like staying there by the AC. And then the other thing was also, what was the other one? Oh, and like right when the tour ended, there's the vendors that are right beside the front of in the entrance of Fort Santiago. So right away when it was done, like I went straight to the first vendor that had a calamansi juice, and I went and picked that up right away. So, yeah, man. I hope you are not sick anymore, and you can get a chance to recover. But yes, let's keep opening what we got over here. Oops, did it not cut? Let's try this again. All right, I'm gonna bring this audio down. Let's bring it to, this is 15. But yeah, let me know how that sounds. I'll put it to 20 actually. Just have a little bit of a backbeat, but here we go. Open up this. Oh, I didn't even, did I? Let's take a look at it a little closer because I probably will be using some of this B-roll for maybe an unboxing video or a short or something like that. So taking a look, you could see a huge window for the actual front over here, and then you could see the Figma information on the front. On the top, you could see the whole horse over here. On the bottom, you could see the horse with one of the Figma girl action figures. Off to the side, you just see Figma on the bottom, not much. And same on this side. On the back, you have some cool pictures. So that's just the figure in an articulated pose. Unfortunately, had this sticker here to cover the head. And then you could see the archetype body. So a couple different poses that you can have. Excuse me. And then there you go, another picture of the girl. Now we'll open this up one more time and put it together with a link. So we'll slide this tray out. What else do we have? Tray insert, any other paper, pack-ins, so nothing else. This is just a basic package, which I'll chuck. Won't need this. We do have some instructions here. So it looks like it is the horse. It is also the display stand or arm here. So the base, kind of like a flight stand, and then an adapter over here. And then it also looks like I need to install the stirrups. I think they're called stirrups, like where you put your feet inside. So it looks like the saddle comes up, and then also there's some pins here where we can put the stirrups so that they hang off to the side. And then there it is again with the archetype body over here once you actually have an action figure on. And that's it. So I'll put this off to the side. Take a look at the horse. So hungry I could eat a horse. Let's get this all open right now. Yo, what's good, Tristan? Unboxing some action figures. Stuff I ordered a while back in the States, and then I got my buddy to finally put it all together in a box and ship over to me. But yeah, hope you and the fam are good in B-Town. So here is the flight stand that came. Make sure that nothing else is missing here. Yeah. So flight stand is in 3 pieces. This is your standard Figma base hex design with a little hex cutout too, and then that plugs in here. And then this is, whoops, losing pieces already. This is an arm. So this base of the arm pegs in here first and foremost. So then you have this to kind of pose around, and then you have this smaller, narrower peg where you can take this. So These are not quite the same. This one is slightly thicker than this one here. So you use this one here as the adapter that actually plugs into the action figures or the horse in this case. So I'll set this flight stand off to the side, and then here we go. We have the action figure in all its glory. I'm going to take away this plastic coating, and it looks like it's been packed really, really well. You have this little, I don't even know what this is called, like strap, rein, I guess the reins of the horse, like for your character to hold on to. And we'll go ahead and pull this whole character out. All right, so again, some additional foam padding and stuff. Get that out of here. You have the hooves that are covered in these nice sleeves to help avoid the paint rub. So go ahead and take all of these out. And then same with this, again, these stirrups. We'll tear these off. And our horse is now free. And it looks really good, in my opinion. Nice scale, nice level of detail, and exactly what I was hoping for. Again, that brown chestnut look with the lighter style mane, and then we can, get Link riding that. Hey, what's going on, Hamid? Hope you and Paula and the kids are doing well. Just unboxing some action figures that I got from the States. Been waiting a while to take these out. But this character I got specifically for Link from The Legend of Zelda. So I'm going to go ahead and just get this guy a little posed up. But so yeah, this is supposed to be Epona. So I'll go ahead and have Epona here, and then Link off to the side so you can see how they look together. They look pretty good in my opinion. Right? And then let's see if we can get Link mounted on here. So I'm going to go ahead and just straighten out the legs of the horse here. Got to figure out the best way to have this articulated. I have no idea how a horse stands. Should be simple enough, but I want to make sure that I'm making use of all these joints. The back legs are a little stiff, so but yeah, before we get into that, let's talk about some of the articulation of the horse. Well, let's talk about the paint job. Paint job looks really good. All of the independent pieces are molded plastic, so we have black, we have the blue, we have this chestnut. Hey, what's going on, KD? I'm finally unboxing some of the stuff that you shipped over. So this is the horse that I copped to go with our boy Link. So in Ocarina of Time and in Twilight Princess, a lot of the old Zelda games, the best horse is the brown one with the blonde hair, which is Epona. So this was that horse that you got, and this is the Link figure that I have to go with it. So I'm just going over some of the features here that this horse has. So yeah, all this blonde piece looks really good. Molded black plastic, molded blue plastic. All this brown looks really good. Same with the tail. The only additional paint apps that I can see here are the eyes, the glossy eyes. There's this little white patch over here up front. And then there's a nice like fade. I'm not sure if you could see like that gradient of like this like dark black or brown to the chestnut, which is nice. And then again, when we look at like the hooves, like the lower parts of the legs of the horse, this is a nice, like you could tell this is all done in brown. I believe it was done in the brown, and then they put either some white paint to do that fade gradient. Then they got the hoof printed there, and then they even detailed the horseshoes, which is pretty crazy if you ask me. I mean, small fine details, and then even you could see small little grooves. I'm trying to see if you can catch the grooves there on the zoom. But that's really cool. And then from an articulation standpoint, hey, what's going on, Mark? Just taking a look at some horse toys, you know what I'm saying? This area just kind of moves around, can bend down that far, go up like this, and then the head goes out that far. down that much, and then so this can all like rotate all on this ball peg. It's like a double ball peg, and then same with this area here. You can kind of move that head joint around, and then with these legs, they can bend forward, up that high, that far back. This comes up that far, bends 90 degrees. This goes up that far, and this bends more than 90 degrees. I've never rode a horse before, but I imagine that's probably the way that the joint should look. And then let's take a look at the rear. So the saddle is a solid plastic. All of this is all solid plastic. Let's take a look at the back leg. Kicks out that far. Can also come forward that much, and there is a little bit of give to go in and out. There's a little bit of give here, not as much as the rear legs for the posability, and then this leg can go that far out straight, can bend quite a bit forward, and then this very similar articulation around the hoof over here. And Ricky is saying, all good, rested up, thankfully, lots of liquids and vitamin C to help my immune system. We went to celebrate my Lola's 90th birthday. Oh, congrats to her, man. Um, yeah, when I was in the Philippines, we went to go visit my wife's aunt, Tita Ning Ning, and she's actually 90. So, it's really, obviously really important for us to respect our elders and visit family there. Now, let's take a look at the tail of the horse. This is on a ball or a little peg and joint system, so this can go up and down, and then this also spins around, and then you have the option of plugging it into his butthole over here. I don't know why they put another peg, I guess just to lower where the tail goes, but I think that's kind of funny. It's like right where the butthole is. But anyways, this part comes up and off, so we could take this saddle off here, and then this has, again, these triple peg system plugs into the top of that to hold it all in place. But these here allow us to adjust the height of the, I think these are called stirrups. If anyone knows, let me know. But like, yeah, this is just a rubber piece with some plastic there. But I guess based on the character, the action figure that you put on here, you can pretty much, use these pegs to pin up a little bit higher, and then, raise and lower the height of the stirrups based on where the leg sits. So for Link, which is why I purchased it, let's see how this clicks in. Trying to. All right, that's not quite. I thought it would be tighter, but it's good enough. So with Link, as mentioned in Ocarina of Time, he rides a horse. It's a brown horse with a golden mane. So this is the closest action figure that I found to kind of meet that. So we'll go ahead and see if we can get him mounted on top. That's weird, right? Hamid, the friggin' horse with the butthole. What the frig? Like, I don't know. Too detailed, if you ask me. They could have left that one out. Um, but Link, the articulation is pretty good. The main worry that I have, or question that I have, is this skirt, like this tunic. I know that there's like two pieces. So there's this main piece that wraps around the front, and then there's this like butt flap like part over here that could kind of like bend out a little bit too. So I wonder, how much, I can actually splay, his legs. So I'm trying to, work with the joints here and get them, spread out properly, and then to see if I can get this dude in like a riding, position. So hold on, let's take those accessories off for now, just to kind of get him a little bit more accurate to what we want to do, getting him onto the horse over here. So let's go ahead and get him here. Yeah, so this isn't the right height, but just to give you an idea of what it could look like is right here. So this is kind of an idea of what Link would look like on this horse. But do you see what I mean? Like how this, actually wait, can we do this? Let's try this. It's 1 foot. Let's get the other foot. Something like this is the look that we're going for here. What's going on, Than? Taking a look at some action figures. I just got this sweet horse from my homie Kyle in the US. This was on sale on Amazon, but got it as a fill-in for Epona, and it's looking pretty sweet. I do have some alternate hands for Link that can hold the reins properly, but yeah, they're made. These are all made by the same company. These are all made by Figma, so I think it scales actually pretty well, all things considered, and it could pull off. I think it pulls off Epona, in a pretty good way. So there is Link going for a ride here. Let's actually turn this around. I want to try and get the Master Sword and shield back on here. Whoops. Thing with these Figma accessories is they are super finicky because of the tiny joints. Playing any emulators? And sorry, man, I haven't had a chance to play your game. Honestly, like Smash is the only thing that I've been playing right now. I haven't even been playing any retro games, to be honest. And also, are you gonna get the Switch too? What are your thoughts on that? Especially as a dev, wonder if you already have your hat in the running for some dev kits on the Switch too. All right, so yeah, like these joints are like super tiny on this um, Hylian shield and scabbard. So just trying to find like the sweet spot, get everything, squozen in. There we go. And even these little ports over here are designed to go onto Link's wrist, just to kind of hold that in place as well. But yeah, I'm trying to get this onto Link's back, but it's tough because this Master Sword scabbard is like not the grippiest. I know it's poor choice of words, but what can you say? Anyways, so this is what Link, could look like when riding the horse. But I think it looks pretty solid, to be honest. I think like proportionately, and even just like design style wise, they're both manufactured by Figma, so no surprise there. This isn't officially licensed or noted as Epona, but I certainly think that it passes off pretty well. What's going on, Eric? Taking a look at some action figures. This is a Twilight Princess um, Link figure that I picked up years ago, and then this here is made by the same manufacturer, um, and it's a new color that they released, and it's pretty reminiscent of Epona. So obviously, Epona with the brown colorway and the golden mane. I thought that this would be a good stand-in. So this is like a fresh pickup specifically to kind of create this look on the shelf. So I'm gonna toss this. I'm gonna find a place on the glass case to get these two up at some point. But yeah, I hope everything's going good with you, man. All right, so let's go ahead and put this guy away from now. Just gotta find some real estate for the horse on the shelf at some point. Link, I'm gonna put back on the Nintendo shelf with the rest of the Smash Bros. Characters. So I'm just gonna get him into his neutral standing pose that I had him on before, kind of like a straight forward flexed position here. And then again, this Master Shield or Master Sword and Hylian Shield just have this peg here on the back, and then that ports into his storage port on the back over here. So let's go ahead and get that here. And there is our Hero of Time. So far, no announcements that I'm aware of on Zelda for Switch 2, but I imagine that we'll get all the remakes. I think Wind Waker maybe is one of the GameCube ports that they're going to be releasing. Um, I still have all my original GameCube stuff, so I don't think I'm going to be buying any of the remakes. I'll probably just replay the retro style games, but you can be sure that when a new version does come out, I'll be picking that up. I'll be picking up the Switch 2 on day one as well. I know a lot of people have a issue with the price, but to be honest, I've always been a Nintendo guy. A lot of you already know that. And when it comes down to picking up day one consoles and stuff like that, that's usually not a surprise. For people that know me from a Nintendo perspective, um, the way that I see it as well is, there's games on the Nintendo Switch 2 that are exclusive. Nintendo obviously has all of their primary IP, all the Mario titles, Zelda, Metroid, all that other types of stuff, where you can't get that on PC, you can't get it on PlayStation or on Xbox. So really, the only way to play those games is to invest in the console. So I know a little pricier, but I mean, when the Xbox One X, when the PlayStation 5, a lot of the new gen consoles come out, they've come out at a higher price point. Now, historically, Nintendo has obviously been known as the brand that releases the most affordable console out of all of them. So I think that's really why they're shaking up the scene so much. People are just kind of used to paying, sub $400 to get their next gen console. And then I think the other thing that people are complaining about is the fact that it is dated technology. They're saying, oh, it's only a PS4 or it's like one of the last gens. Yeah, but the PS4 wasn't also a portable console at the same time. So in my mind, getting access to the library and all the other features, makes sense for the Switch. But my opinion, though, is that one, I don't play as like portable as much anymore. Like I moved back to Mississauga. I don't live in Toronto. When I was living in Toronto and traveling quite a bit, I used my Switch pretty much every single day on my commute. So when I would go on the TTC, that 30 minutes was for me. I would lock in, I'd play, Zelda, Mario Kart, like whatever type of Smash, any type of game, on the go to just kind of pass the time while I was in transit. So that utility doesn't really apply to me anymore because I'm working from home now. So, my Switch is always docked. Where I'm going with this is that to reduce the price, it would be awesome if they did create a version of the Switch that was just a handheld console, or sorry, a docked console. And the reason why I mean that is because you would reduce the price by removing the screen, you'd remove the battery, and anything that make it a portable console because now you have an option for home. I don't think they should discontinue the Switch because I think that the Switch is really the spiritual successor to things like Game Boy, Nintendo DS, and stuff like that. So that's fine, but I think that they can certainly water down, you know, the not water down, but remove the portable aspect of it and sell a home version, and people will be very happy with that. I think especially I'm going to say millennials and older, or people, or just people that maybe like are they're not they don't need the on the go features to kind of save that extra money. So that's one thing. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, with the Nintendo Switch 2, a lot of people have a gripe about are the games, and the games are going to be like 80 USD or something like that. So what is that going to be, like over $100 in Canadian dollars? Also a shock. I completely see that from what people are used to. You're paying even $80 right now. I think is the standard Nintendo Switch game, like Smash Bros. Ultimate, Mario Odyssey, Zelda, all that other types of stuff. You're going to be um, hitting at least that $80 price point. Now, when it comes down to um, when you compare the prices, like that actually isn't that drastic. And when you compare the price point of the games to, let's say, when I bought Star Fox, or when my dad bought Star Fox for me in 1996 or whatever it was with the Rumble Pack, that game was like $140, like, for the game and the accessory, right? Even games around that time were 89, 99, $120, right? So let's say 80 to $150 for a game in the 90s. Like when you adjust that for inflation now, that is like $140. That's like 140 to like 200 and like $20, with inflation. So like games back then were like very expensive. So I think that the thing, like at least from my perspective, the way that um, I'm thinking about this is the fact that it's not necessarily the price of the games that went up when it comes down, or the consoles with Nintendo Switch. It's that everything from an inflation perspective went up dramatically. Obviously, our wages didn't go up to kind of counter offset that, but that's the same thing when it comes down to the housing market, vehicles, all kinds of other things like that. So I'm just saying, like the Switch 2 price increase is the last thing that I think people like should be like shook about. But that's, I don't know, that's me standing on my soapbox and kind of talking about that. But anyways, that's that's my spiel on Switch 2. But yeah, let's go back to what the next. What would the next one be? What's going on, Lynn? Just talking, ranting about. What am I ranting about? I'm ranting about the Switch 2 while unboxing action figures. So that's what we're doing today. I did want to get into this Perceptor, which is another transformer that I wanted to take a look at, but I realized the time, and my wife gets off at 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to wrap here, and I'll probably unbox most of the stuff either at a later date or just try and find a way to, either maybe do this offline and then re-upload some shorts and unboxing videos and stuff like that. But I think that, we can call it from here. There were quite a few things that we took a look at today. In the very beginning of my stream, I mentioned that I shipped in a whole bunch of stuff from the States. I ordered last year from the homie Kyle. So thank you so much, KD, for hooking me up with that type of stuff. I ordered stuff from Big Bad Toy Store. I got stuff from Amazon. I got stuff from 796 Studios and a couple other places. Shipped them all to one location, consolidated all of that into one big box of stuff. So all of this, I know it's a Big Bad Toy Store box, but it's not all stuff from Big Bad Toy Store. Um, so all that stuff came in, and then I went through and I unboxed as much of it as I could. We had 1986 Transformers from the 86 movie, so Studio Series Transformers. We have the Figma horse that you saw right over here on the bottom. There is a 5-pack of Legacy Generation Transformers. We have 4 vintage cassettes from G1 Transformers. We have 2 upgrade effects kits, one for Goku. Well, it's for Goku, but I'm actually going to use it for toy photography with Smash Brothers types of stuff. And then also upgrade kits for Hot Rod, Cup, Jazz, and more of the 86 collection, and some Stranger Things Transformers. So a bunch of stuff, and then revamping the setup over here. So a couple different things that I switched up were, one, this Elgato face cam. I wanted to, get something from a different angle to kind of show a look into the den, into the studio here. It is a very small space, but I wanted a different perspective for what people can see as they look in here. The other thing, so this is the one angle from the side cam. I also do have another angle over here, which is more of a top-down style, where you can see more of what I'm unboxing. And then I have a secondary camera, which is right up here. This is more of a wide shot, just to kind of see, the back wall, and you could kind of see me a little bit more off to this side over here. And there is actually a third camera, which I wonder if I can switch to that guy right now. Is it this face cam? Can you hear me now? Hamid, can you hear me now? Testing, testing, one, two, three. Does that work? Yes, no? Oh, wait. I hope it's coming through. Perfect. Thank you. So what I was saying is that, so this camera, I call it my third angle because it's the third angle that I'm sharing here on this stream. But this is my primary camera and view for when I'm on Zoom, Teams, Google Meet, like any of like my teleconferencing stuff for work. So I call this my work camera because it's like, when I'm sitting at my desk and, presenting or doing anything like that, like this front facing camera is like my main camera. So, I use this mainly for work on my day to day. Also, when I'm streaming, like fighting games and stuff, just to get like a front reaction and stuff like that. So, this is my main camera for that. The other camera I have is the side view. That's so you guys. When I did that, I realized that that scene also doesn't have the audio hooked up either. So I needed to so I switched back. So, anyways, that's the other camera that I saw, the other angle that you saw before. But this is the primary angle that I'm working on. So when I'm literally, sitting at my desk, like whatever, then this is like the main view that like I guess my clients and my coworkers and see. So this one's like a stationary angle over here. I'll go back to what I meant to show was sorry was so this one. So that I'm gonna call that camera one. This is camera two. So again, when I'm doing unboxing and stuff like that, I feel that it's better for me to work this way. This is where this top down area is. This is where I stand closer to this side. So it makes more sense, because now I'm out of the view of the other camera over here when I was on that front facing shot, right? So this is kind of like, I guess, my review camera, if you want to call it that. And then the other camera, again, I mentioned was this one here, the one on top. So this one is more of just kind of like the room camera, just to kind of get an idea of like, me also standing and moving around. So a couple different angles. This one I specifically turned on because of Instagram. When I'm on this side over here, like you can't like, well, the camera's over here, but I review over here. So I'm out of frame on that side. And then if I'm standing over here and I'm using that camera, then I'm too close. Like literally the camera is like right at my arm. So like this is kind of like that third angle that I chose with one of my older webcams just to kind of still have me in view so I can move from the screen to like the unboxing area and still be in frame, for that type of stuff. So appreciate you calling out the audio thing though. I think that oh no, thank you, man. Like I didn't realize that I didn't have the audio hooked up to those other scenes. So all the best to you and Paula. Again, hope to see you guys soon. And yeah, hopefully all the work with the house is going well. And yeah, we'll catch you soon, Hamid. See you later. Okay, so I think that is pretty much it. Other than unboxing and stuff like that, I certainly do want to um, get everything ready for Switch 2 launch. First and foremost is trying to get the pre-order in. They delayed pre-orders. It was originally supposed to be open for pre-order, I believe, on April 9. And then all the political stuff happened with tariffs and all the kind of crazy stuff. So they delayed the Switch launch from the 9th. And now I believe that Switch 2 pre-orders are going to start on April 24, at least at GameStop in Canada, in the US. I'm not sure about Canada, so I'll have to take a look and figure out where the pre-orders are. I'm definitely going to be picking one up on day one, along with Mario Kart and a Pro controller. And then the other thing that I'm working on is fixing up this kind of like area over here. I currently have a dual stacked portrait setup and then a vertical monitor over here for communications. So work, comms is kind of like set up over here, but I'm currently looking at a gaming monitor because of the hardware jump on the Switch 2. So I want to be able to get, that 4K 120 FPS on certain games. Like these monitors are work monitors. They do not perform, or have the frame rate needed or to get the good picture of the new hardware. And the other thing I'm looking for, because I have all these monitors, is switching over to an ultra wide setup. So I'm also looking at 32, 34 inch ultra wide monitors to kind of switch out the view of what I have over here as well. So really excited to pick some of that stuff up. Definitely the setup orientation is gonna change. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go fully ultra wide and just have like two side by side, a standard gaming monitor and an ultra wide, or if I'm gonna do an ultra wide stack with a gaming monitor or vice versa. But stay tuned because that's going to be happening probably in the next month or so. Switch is going to launch in June, so I will also be streaming Mario Kart World regularly once that hits shelves, especially on day one. So stay tuned for that. But otherwise, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you on the next one. Peace.